Mathew Nyamlori is here to enjoy the fruits of education, even after pursuing it with passion, perseverance, and determination, all in the hope of qualifying for university admission. His is a story of writing KCPE exams 9 times and attaining excellent grades with each attempt in a bid to uplift himself, his siblings, and his parents. His 9th attempt at the primary school national exams finally saw Equity Bank's Wings to Fly scholarship program take him through all levels at Nairobi School. The B+ he got secured him a spot at Kenyatta University to pursue a bachelor's degree in public policy and administration. This is his story.
Yes, my name is Mathew Nyamlori. I am a final year student in Kenyatta University, pursuing Bachelor of Public Policy and Administration. I have a living story, struggling to reach the level I am now. I was born in Bomet, Danai Division, Sotik Sub-County, Kelegele location, Kipsimbol Village. I started my primary school in Kipsimbol Primary School in Danai Divisions. That is in Rift Valley. My first language was Kipsigis. So I talk fluent Kipsigis, I talk fluent Luo. My parents were Luo, but it happened that we were born there. I am the 9th born in the family of 13. My father used to be a tailor by then, and my mom was a casual laborer. She used to work weeding people's farm in order to raise 13 children. So it was hard. It was a hard thing. So most of us were introduced to that kind of casual laborers. Even me, I remember starting doing it when I was in class 3. During our struggle in Rift Valley, it was a bit harder, but it happened that during that time, the primary school I was, it used to organize for Education Day. And those who qualify, you could get only one in the whole location was qualifying to join university. And this one person, he used to be rewarded, seriously rewarded, and gaining respect from everybody else, managing to score a grade in Form 4 to join university. In those times, it was really celebrated. Also, by comparing when we were working in people's farm, when you get somebody who is employed or a civil servant, he used to live in a bit higher life compared to us who was struggling to get daily bread. So I was encouraged, and in fact, I started now being serious when I was in class 5. Then there is when I started being in top 3. Number 1, 2, 3, number 1, 2. I couldn't miss that, despite the fact that the life was hard at home. Unfortunately, there was 1992 classes, introduction of multipartyism in Kenya. So there was a struggle between Luos, Kisis, and those other tribes. We were left, the two of us, me and my brother, who is currently a teacher at Georgia Senior School Preparatory. We were left there to stay there, since even our house was set ablaze. And my parents ran away when they went back home to settle there. By good luck, a chief, by then he was an IAP officer. He took us to stay with us.
He wasn't a relative?
He was somebody, a resident, an inhabitant of those areas. He wasn't a relative at all. So the wife of the chief was compassionate. So when he heard that there are some Luos struggling, they don't have where to stay and their parents have run away, he sent some people to come and pick us. Then we went and stayed with the chief. By then he was not a chief, he was a police officer, AP. So that one I was in class 5.
They still in Rift Valley?
Still in Rift Valley. So by then I used to milk. He has some dairy animals. So life now becomes, I have to do harder job to impress the person taking care of you. So I used to wake up very early in the morning. At 5:35, you milk 20 dairy animals. You rush with the milk to the roadside to be taken to KCC. You come back, you prepare, you rush to school. So I was balancing school and maintaining my work at Chief's place. Yes. So I struggle. Class 7, my brother was ahead of me. Then he also struggled. He scored, I think he scored 489, if I'm not wrong.
Which year is this?
That was 1995.
He scored 490.
489. He was out of 700. I remember he was admitted to Koiwa High School. The following year, I also sat KCP. I scored 478 out of 500. Was admitted at Kabianga, but we couldn't join. I couldn't go to Kabianga High School. That was my first time in the year 1998. So my aunt was a teacher at Kuja School for the Deaf at Rongo. So the husband used to stay in Sotik. So we met the hand, and she encouraged us that we can go back and repeat in those sides and try and apply for Stare scholarship. 1999, I went back to class 8, Rongo Primary School. I resided with hand. Unfortunately, she was also transferred second term. I went to Rongo Primary School. Stayed with my aunt for a while. Then she was also transferred back to Soti to join the family. I remained there. I stayed a bit in the church, Power of Jesus Around the World Church.
So your aunt spoke to the leadership of the church to take care of you?
I went personally and spoke to the leader to the church to take care of me. They agreed for a while, and there was a bit some wrangles that people who are not born again and who are not the son of preacher should not stay in that. So I had some hurdles still staying there. I sat for KCP, scored over 500, and that December I moved out, started doing Mjengo to survive. I moved out of the church.
So was there a school that granted you admission?
I was admitted at Kanga High School. I went to Kanga.
You never had school fees? So
I never had school fees, and I had a distant hand also who was who offered to support me in second term. I remember.
You joined?
I joined Kanga, but I bought everything by myself.
Yes.
Struggling, working, doing manual labor. Yes. Then I joined Kanga, Form 1. Form 2, second term. This person also had a problem because I used to go to home to work for her because he's supporting me. She's a distant relative. And the husband was not for me being supported. Her sister too. They were not for me being supported by her. So there was a struggle. Then she dropped when I was in Form 2. That was the year 2001. I stayed without doing anything. By then Kanga, if you don't have fee, you can't stay in the compound. You pay fee, you stay in the compound. That was a rule. Then I decided, I said, hey, I have struggled. Those who dropped when I was sitting for KCP, some of them have gone for this skilled job or this mechanic, carpentry or whatever. But me, surely I have the brain. I should not drop out of school. I went back. I went back and registered at Kitere Primary School, just around Kanga High School. stayed in Kitere.
Where are you living?
I was living in a certain house in the school compound. So
The teacher allowed you?
The teacher allowed me, and life was that is where I tested real life now. Because Saturday and Sunday I used to go and do Mujengo at Rongo. Trekking from Kitere to Rongo. Doing Mujengo, getting 200 is enough to maintain me. So I was not taking lunch. Lunch I used to move to sugarcane plantation. I get some guavas and sugarcane. I chew sugarcane. I went back to class. Afterwards, in the evening, I can do strong tea and some mandazi, 2 mandazi. I survived that way the whole year. I scored 3.
Did the head teacher know about whatever you were going through, or they just gave it a day?
The head teacher knew, but he had so many students staying with him.
Okay.
The head teacher knew.
Why would you stay with him with these other pupils?
But there were many, and they were saying that we will be many now. So, because I was a bit senior among them, I offered to survive.
Sure.
What
was the name? Do you think he had the goodwill to see you succeed in life, go through school and pass, and join a school where you get a sponsor to take you through school? Their teacher. How do you describe him?
Yes, it was after, because he had helped some people who had gone to national school before me going there. He had that intention, but being that he was also having family and many people taking care, so I never wanted to give out pressure to somebody else. But I thank God he gave me an opportunity to repeat and register for
Is he still there?
Yeah, he passed away.
Let's say he would be sitting in front of you today. What words would you share with him?
Very a disciplinarian. We used to call him a Bondo Soja. Very a disciplinarian, could not smile with you when you do a mistake.
He was a good man.
He was a good man.
Okay. So now you do your, this is your third attempt.
That one is my third attempt.
And you get, how many marks?
387 out of 500.
That's now 500 now.
Yes.
387.
Yes.
Do you get admission to a school?
I was admitted to Rapogi High School.
Which is another Kanga.
It's
another Kanga. Do you join school?
Never. I stayed. You know, over the holiday, that is where I was telling you, over the holiday, I used to reside in someone's bathroom, outside. You know, there in bathroom used to be outside the hotel.
Do you join?
I didn't join. I was saying that during that time is when I used to reside, over the holiday, I used to reside in someone's bathroom. And I go do Mujengo, I put my clothing in a polythene bag, I hang them somewhere. At night, I sneak in, I sleep.
This is a town,
Rongo town, yeah.
And then you use their bathroom.
Bathroom outside. That bathroom
it was accessible from outside.
Yeah, it had no fence. It had no fence. You see, because I could not manage even paying rent, I had nowhere to stay, just like a destitute. So when I was admitted at Rapogi, I had no hope. I went straight to Sony Sugar Primary.
Yes.
I met Mr. Ojuang Alois and I explained my...
Somebody directed you to him or you...
I used to check the level. Those who are going to Stare is from which primary school. I get Sony Sugar, somebody went to Stare this and this year. Let me try this, which means it is a better school.
Yes.
I went to Sony Sugar Primary. I also struggled. Life was struggling because still I had nowhere to stay. I was struggling alone, but a bit. Mr. Yuang, in fortnight, he used to give me 500. And that 500 I could...
You still using the bathroom?
No, by then I am in Awendo. I've transferred from Rongo to Awendo. Sony Sugar Primary.
Now, you've rented another house?
No, there were some houses, Mabati house, where the wall is iron sheet. Also, it's also iron sheet. Yes. So it goes at 100 per month.
100 shillings.
100 shillings per month.
Okay.
So I used to stay there, though meals I used to take in school, lunch and breakfast, then night.
Who would provide at school?
Teachers came at random, somebody saying, no, I'll be paying for Nini for this month, your breakfast for this month.
And most of them knew how you were performing?
I used to get over 450.
So they were just, I think they just wanted to be part of the success.
They wanted to be part of my success.
It happens when teachers and this also happened to me, I remember. When teachers know you are a promising student, they will always want to support you in their own way. And I think that was nice of them.
There was a support, but there was also psychological problem, because maybe you are supported during the day, you see.
Yes.
Then at night you don't have something to eat.
Yes.
You see, it is terrible. You don't have even fuel, paraffin to use to read.
Yes.
You see, it was a challenging event, you see. I sat for KCP that year. I scored 399. Still, I was admitted again to Rapogi High School. Rapogi again.
This is now 4th attempt.
That is my 4th attempt. Struggling to get something.
So
during that time now, I said, I will never drop out of school. I have to complete. Because I wanted to also, there are those who were humiliating me because they have got support.
How do you mean you swore not to drop out? You weren't dropping, or it's just school fees that was making
it was school fees, but there was forces telling me there are so many people making it in life minus going to school. Yeah. So there is no way of struggling, all that wasting your time.
You have to go through school.
Yeah, so I said, no, with me, I'll be close to people who can advise me. And I had a very good advisor who was our supervisor when I was sitting at Kitere Primary. He was called Mr. Ito.
Okay.
Mr. Ito comes from Ranen, and Ranen was next to Sony.
Yes.
So he used to advise me, saying, but I'm taking my degree now. It's when I'm taking my degree. And we have very old people. You see, there are so many people who are making it in school, never drop out of school. Mr. Oito. So he used to be one of my mentor and one of my advisor. So I struggled. After that, the director, Rangwe Junior Academy, heard of my story.
So you didn't join Rapogi?
I didn't join Rapogi. I went to Rangwe Junior Academy now, at least to get a boarding, conducive environment where I can
Who is going to pay for your...
He accepted. He was a very generous director.
Yes.
He has been helping so many students. I remember during our time, Mr. Campbell, during our time, we used to be there around 10 people under
Campbell
scholarship.
is the owner of Rangwe Junior?
Yes, Everest Campbell.
Yes.
He gave me full scholarship. I scored 434. I was admitted out of 500. I was admitted to Maseno School.
Your 5th attempt.
That is my 5th attempt.
What happens now?
I struggled first time when going to Maseno School, requesting alone, asking them if they can allow me to learn.
Yeah, sharing with them about you.
About me. And then I was being told to go and see the MP. I know by then the MP was my villager. I don't want to mention them.
The MP for your
Nyakach. Nyakach.
Oh.
So I come from Nyakach, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was my villager.
And you sure he knew about your story?
He knew me in person.
But what makes you think he probably never wanted to support you?
I don't know, because I frequented his office several times and the people there were even laughing. They were not after that. They were not after taking care.
And I think you are a rare, needy person who was performing well. Your parents were not able to support you through school, isn't it?
Yes.
And they knew. They had this information.
They knew. The people in that office knew me very well. And even without explaining my name, they know that this is the son of Nyamlori.
So what happens at Maseno?
Maseno, I joined in 2nd term and I became top 10. I joined in 2nd term is when the then principal allowed me to be in school. I was given uniform.
Did you pay any amount of money?
I paid only 6,000.
Who gave you this money?
Out of casual labor, out of my sweat.
So you start school at second term?
At second term. Second term, Maseno, Form 1, I completed my Form 1. Form 2, struggling started also. Because, you are sent away and there were bureaucracy. You cannot reach the principal easily. Even the secretary cannot allow you. You see?
What?
There was a strong bureaucracy that you must chain of command.
Yes.
I was sent away of Maseno because of lack of fee. That time, I almost now giving up. I was almost giving up because by then, my classmates, some of them were in campus now. Most of them.
And some that you even scored better marks.
Very many. So I was even meeting some in Maseno University as I moved to Maseno High School, you see. And then 2007, that one was 2006. 2007, I came to Nairobi now. I said, hey, most of the scholarship organization is in Nairobi. I am telling you, I knocked several offices. I went even up to the PS education by then. I went to the director of education. I went to this Kenya Christian support, child support. I moved, knocked with the documents, asking them for support, but all were in vain. So I used to stay in Dandora. I'm residing with my cousin in Dandora. So I used to trek, going to the industrial area, Pemba Mila, to go to Mujengo, carrying big stones, you see. And in Mujengo, if you are a mtu wa mkono, fundi boy, you are the least in the site. You can be told, go and wash that thing, and you can't say no. You are washing it. You are the first person to report and you are the last person to leave after washing all the tools used by the fundis.